Okay, what's up YouTube? How are you doing, yo? How are you doing, everyone? Hopefully you have a good weekend so far. Let me know what you have been up to today and yesterday. So on Friday, I went for dinner with my parents. Koya in Monaco, great restaurant, great place. I can definitely recommend if you go to Monaco. Check out Koya. Amazonico is also nice, actually. And yesterday, dinner in Nice. More of a working day, but went to the city and did a little bit of. I mean, we were in the city to look for some stuff because I need some stuff, but I couldn't really find it. So yeah, it's nice to have my parents around, walking with them through the city center yesterday, but also doing a lot of other work related stuff that I have to finish for tomorrow. So not yet finished, but I still have the pretty much full day tomorrow. So yeah, so it's a mix of relaxation, work, and hanging out with, of course, my wife, but also my parents. So welcome, everyone. It is time for an altcoin stream. If you don't know how they work, there is a vote link in the chat. Make sure to vote for your favorite alts. You can select multiple alts. If yours is not in the list, let me know. I can add it, but it would be for next time because it's kind of like too late now. So yeah, and then we are gonna cover some alts for the upcoming hour. My parents will be here at 6 p.m. Central European Time, which is in 1 hour. So in 1 hour I have to go. Now, usually in an hour, we can actually do a lot of alts because we definitely stay up to date with what is happening on the chart with the alts as we analyze them weekly, and most of the alts get requested several times. So that's why I suppose the top couple of alts will go very quick. So yeah, welcome Rohit and Tarun Jain. Welcome to Silver. Make sure to fill in the poll or not. Wait. This is not the. This is not the link for like the form. Membership form for Tarun. I'm not sure if you're here, sir, but if you are, make sure to fill in the form there. So Mark Dutch, welcome. Raki, got an alert. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, make sure to vote. Nice that the alerts are working. Admin USA, maybe a band-aid. Good to have you here, man. Hopefully you are recovering. Let me know how it goes, either here or in the mod chat as well. So would be good to keep track of what you're up to, how you're doing, and of course we'll be chatting as well about the 10-5 1-year plan. Maybe a band-aid. It's good if we set up a call of an hour somewhere in the week and just have a chat about like the vision as well and whatever is up. So would be cool, would be fun to actually speak. I'll probably meet Odin, also a mod, in a couple of weeks. He lives in South Africa, Cape Town. I go to Cape Town in like next month. I've met Mark, I've met Jeroen. The only two I haven't met are Odin and maybe a Band-Aid, at least in real life. So Helium HNT. Yeah, it is a little late for me to really add stuff because, what's the chance of those getting the highest amount of votes? Generally very low, of course. So, but I'll at least just add this, and I want to get going because time is ticking. And we do not have hours and hours and hours. So, wait, show results. There we go. Now, I guess while I give you at least a few minutes to vote, Bitcoin is actually very easy. So I'll just shortly cover Bitcoin in 2 minutes, and then that's that. You can't. What's up, Bina? Robert, welcome. Dutchman, nice. Many Dutchmans are here, or Dutch women's. I can't find Ava. Wait, you cannot? Did you control? Yeah, probably you did. You know how it goes. Interesting. Okay. Like, okay. What's up, Thunderin? Welcome, Matt, Rocky. A lot of socializing back in London from the south of France. Look at you go. Very, very nice. Talking about the south of France and people actually visiting, I met Eva yesterday. And she was visiting the country here. Someone she knows lives quite close, and had the opportunity together with my wife to meet Eva, which was great. Yeah, good time. She will stay here, I guess, for I think like what was it, a week or something. But it's great to meet people from the community and actually have a face with the name as well, and having a chat. And I think we spoke for about an hour, had a drink with the three of us, my wife, Eva, and myself. Yeah, really cool, really cool. Very, very nice person. Kiwi, how you doing? Solana, vote, vote, vote. Christian Hunter, what's up? Nick, Adam, how you doing? Yeah, I haven't met Adam as well in real life. The people from the US, a little bit more tricky. But Adam, good to have you here. And Tam, what's up? So let's start. Just make sure to vote for the upcoming 2 minutes. Bitcoin, just shortly, actually very easy. Bullish count is a WXY. This is and still remains the area that I keep an eye on, as mentioned before the weekend. So that is pretty much the previous range price section between 61.8 and 60. I mean, if I go to the high of the range, it's 62.3, but the box here is the value areas of that range, 61.8, 62.2. So a complex structure, and then a flat three-wave, and then preferably a zigzag-ish structure in a wave Y to get alternation with your W, right? So a three-wave flat in W, A, B, C, then you have your X, and some zigzag structure in a wave Y. That's your bullish count, and that bullish count then fits with a wave 4. Right now, your wave 4 not allowed to take out the high here at 61.4, so that's your invalidation. 382 in confluence with this area, so it's an interesting area to observe the reaction. We also have some bearish CVD divergences here. We had some more over here as well. So those were building, and the target for the bigger bearish CVD is that low. So it actually comes together quite nicely. It's quite an interesting plan, an interesting area of interest to at least observe what happens and then take it from there. Now your bearish scenario is quite simply a 1-2, and then eventually you look for another 1-2 and you go to the downside. That's your most bearish scenario. Currently, the WXY though remains a higher probability, and that is mainly because of the three-wave structure of the high, 1, 2, 3. And because this move up is a three-wave structure, probabilities are higher that this is not the end of the local uptrend, and that everything that comes after is corrective. Because if this is the end of an uptrend, right, then we actually want to see a 5-wave structure, which we didn't get. We never got a 4 and a 5. We got a 3-wave here. So therefore the probabilities are on the side that what we are looking for here is a corrective structure, and at a later stage still looking for price to actually take out the high. Now this daily naked point of control was on my chart. If you follow my chart, it's public, it's in the description here, sharing is open. You have seen me put this on the chart yesterday. As the main resistance, it was literally on my chart the whole day of yesterday and today. Of course, for clear reasons, that was the main area of resistance. And also this area of support has been on my chart the whole day. I literally have not changed a thing. So yeah, let's see what happens on the chart, and should be quite an exciting week A little bit of news on Thursday and Friday here as well. So to make things interesting. Okay, so that's that. Let's get started, right? Show the results here. Why don't you like the 886? Yeah, I've explained it already 3 times in like the live stream on Friday, but this is another. So if you take a fib from the high to the low, yes, we touched the 886. The reason it's irrelevant is because you do not want to pull a fib from the first leg of a potential corrective structure to the second leg of a potential corrective structure. This high can be a W, can be a wave A, can be a wave B, or maybe even a bigger triangle. The problem is that if you pull something from here to here, this high over here can be a wave Y, this high can be a wave D in a triangle, right? Now, wave Y or wave D can easily have the 886 as a target and then never come back. So you only want to pull 886s, right, from a low to the high here, because what you are looking for is price going to take the low, yes or no, right? In other words, are you looking for an impulse, right? Do you want a trend changing? Are you looking for an impulse up? If you hit the 886, very unlikely, higher probabilities to take the low, right? You only want to take an 886 from a place where a structure ends and you look for the potential of a new impulse. This high here is not like a potential structure ending high, because you have that triangle, for example, that you're working on, even maybe WXYs going on here, right? Because of this move being very 3 wavy. And because of the move looking very 3 wavy, right, we cannot guarantee that this is a like ending structure, right? It might just be a subwave of a bigger corrective structure. So okay. Okay, so let's start. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Good night, Kiwi. Good night. So let's get started. Quick refresh here. Now, usually when we go through the alts, things will go very quick, and I won't really look at the chat too much because, of course, we do want to try and cover as much as we can in a relatively short amount of time. So let's get this started then. Okay. Now, some of these will go very, very quick, as you will notice. And that's because nothing has changed. Where's my pen? Pen. Always got a backup pen, yo. Okay, so let me check. We can go here. Okay, the timestamp at the moment is 18. Let's start at 19 minutes with Solana. Gives me a little bit of time to drink my tea. What's up, Hamza, by the way? Good to have you here. Ooh, nice tea. So, on Solana, the the highest probability scenario is an impulse to the upside, where we are looking for a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Common target for your wave 416 to 60. Most interesting area in this target box is 100, arguably. Pretty much the range over here is your main area of support. The 382 is at the lower end of the range, right? So that's an important area, 81 as well. And then currently, based on the current low of this range, your target here would be most common target 247, 317, and then a little less likely, but it's still a target area, right? 315, 623, it's very big. And then you look for a blue 4 and still a blue 5. Now, if we go to the lower time frame, the 4 hour, then on Solana, right, what we have here is we have a first structure to the upside. And then we have this very big three-wave structure to the downside. Now this is like on Bitcoin, right? We hit the 886 here, if you would take an 886 from the high to the low. Now on Solana, this move up was very, very quick. And if you take a fib time from the low to the high, and you toggle on a wave 2 fib time, right? Comparing the move up with the move to the downside, you can see that this low is made far after 5 times the length of a potential one. So if you want to count this as a wave 1 and all of this a wave 2, wave 2 is incredibly long compared to wave 1, which reduces the probabilities for an impulse up in a wave 1, 2, and off to the races in a wave 3. Right? Increases the probabilities that what you are looking at here is a bigger corrective structure. Now, at the moment, right, if it does look like a quick move up, no? And then a slow move down, of course. We never really got a partner leg, arguably, to the upside, right? A potential three-way, for example. So on Solana, it's definitely something to keep in mind. One might potentially sweep the lows, but at the moment, it's difficult to count this as a bullish 1, 2, and a 3. Increases probabilities that what you're looking at here is corrective, which also still increases probabilities to take the low or at the bare minimum continue the range. Now this of course last week was exactly the same. Actually last week we were looking for price because when was that? That was Sunday last week over here. Looking for price to move towards the upside because of this leg to the downside slowing down. You can go to the video last week, the live stream last week. So because you had the sharp drop, started to move sideways, increasing the probabilities to retrace the move over here that you have to the downside. Now currently we then have here locally more of a three-wave structure so far to the upside. But you know, besides counting, I don't want to count this in detail, you know, too low time frame. This move up and this being a 1-2, low probabilities. But the weekly, of course, is arguably is more interesting anyway. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye open for the potential 100 if it does comes down, because an impulse is low probability. So yeah, that is the bullish scenario. Your bearish scenario, low probabilities, just because your wave C is so extended. A, B, and then a very extended wave C. Take a trend-based fib from the low, misclick to the high, to the low of wave B. Toggle on the 1.618, which is already, you know, it's quite a, it's still a target for a wave C, the 1.618. But if you pass the 1.618, right, like I think we may have even hit the 2. Yeah, I mean, we even passed the 2. It starts to reduce probabilities for a wave C compared to an impulsive wave 3. So that is why this has a higher probability compared to this, and your target area is still very big. So you have enough room for Solana to drop just in case. So that is sold. Then we move to Ethereum. That's how quick it can go. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that in Discord. Maybe a band-aid. Let's plan something. What's up, Andrew? Good to have you here, man. Welcome. Still waters runs deep. You know, got my water here ready. Okay, Ethereum. Let's first of all let's be very clear on ETH that the probabilities on Ethereum long term are higher to still take out this high. Very simply, as a price hit the 886, taken from the all-time high to the low of the bear market here, increasing the probabilities that everything here is a corrective, even the move to the downside, increasing probabilities to sooner or later take out that high. It is actually very common for price after an 886 touch to move to the golden pocket, which is pretty much where we are now. So not surprised to see an 886 to the golden pocket almost hitting here, back to the 886 and eventually hitting the golden pocket. So just that, like, you don't actually even need any other Elliott wave analysis. The highest probability on the very long term remains higher to take out the high. Of course, however, there is some scenarios. Now, the only bullish scenario, the only impulse scenario that you can have, not bullish, the only impulse from this low is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is not the highest probability scenario, as it is very ugly. This is your wave 2, this is your wave 4. Wave 4 is over 6 times longer than wave 2, lowering the probabilities. This is your blue wave 2, this is your blue wave 4. Wave 4 is shorter than 2, lowest probabilities, as most common wave 4 is longer in time than a wave 2, right? But yeah, still, by all means, it's something we track. The 382 over here is touched, at least a little bit of respect on the 382. And your most common target would be the 0.5 to the 786 and 1900 to 1200. And preferably your wave 2 to the downside is finishing after the vertical line that you see on the chart, which is the 0.382 fib time taken from the start to the end of your wave 1. Which is sitting on the 11th of November. So therefore, preferably, you are not yet finished with a wave 2 in that scenario. It remains difficult to give that the highest probability though, because of how ugly your wave 1 is. Now, quite interestingly, also locally, we did hit, however, the 886. So price also here touching the 886, increasing the probabilities. Any move down is part of a corrective structure. Wave C, wave Y, any other corrective structure, increasing the probabilities to also, of course, take these highs at the later stage, including then at the later stage that one, because of the bigger 886 as just shown. So that is the directional bias. Now, if we go to 2 bearish scenarios, then let's start with the other one. Then your first bearish scenario is a continuation of the range, which will take a very long time. So if you want such a big triangle on Ethereum, then Bitcoin needs to move very likely in a sideways flat structure as a highest probability, which basically on Bitcoin would mean take the all-time high and then move down in a C below 49K to get, like, you know, you need a very big sideways structure, maybe some WXYs, but on Bitcoin, a flat would be higher probability than any impulsive structures. So yeah, here you then have 3 wave in A, 3 wave in B, a WXY in your B, by the way, and then you have a CDE. Now a WXY double zigzag in a wave B is not great actually in a triangle, as most commonly if one of the waves is complex, it's a wave C. If not C, then D, that is uncommon, and if not D, then B, which is very rare. So that of course makes it a little more difficult. And then you have this scenario here, which leads to a bigger, also again sideways range. Wave Y preferably is a flat, actually, A, B, and then a C. So of course that would then mimic a potential flat in Bitcoin, which would fake out many people in the market undoubtedly. And your most bearish scenario is a wave C to the downside. The problem with a wave C and then a 3, 3, and then a wave 5, or a 5 wave move down, meaning an impulse, is that your wave 2 hit the 886 here, for then a 1, 2 looking for a bigger 3. Wave 2 hitting the 886 is very rare, never preferred unless everything else fails. So arguably a WXY would work better than an ABC. But also a WXY would take out the highs. And that is the directional bias that we have on Ethereum. Now if we then go to the 4-hour time frame. Now what is very interesting on ETH is that we actually did touch the 886 here, which increases the probabilities on ETH to still take out this low, unless you start moving in a triangle shape, which then has to fit with all of the other structures, of course. So you would need to count this this move here. But then again, that is like, this is nitpicking. Of course, on Bitcoin, I go to 15-minute time frames and 1 hour and all all that stuff. But on the alts, it's much more interesting to keep an eye on the bigger trend, knowing levels, knowing the direction, and then have your own personal trading plan to execute. No, so yeah, on a 4 hour, there's definitely a potential diagonal in here, which you identified at like months ago, for then a very clear zigzag structure up. But the second leg down here is definitely a bit of an uglier impulse, and this last move here is very much a three-wave structure, right? So far. So let's see, and if we do this from there to there, let's see how long is this by now? Just for estimation purposes, the high has been made at least before the 6 FIB time, but yeah, Ethereum hitting the 886. It's not really what you like to see. Can you get? If you want to make this bullish, you need some like a zigzag. Wait, what was there was one particular level I had, oh here, 2917. Yeah, taken from the high to the low. So, okay, well, 3K, 2917, 3K is almost the same. So, this is a 0.618 taken from, wait a second. There we go, 2905. Taken from this to this, and that would potentially be a 1, 2, 3, and then you want to look for a 5, right? But look how short your 1 is and how massive your 5 is going to be if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of some sort. So also, as mentioned earlier, we hit the 886 here. Increasing probabilities to move down is corrective. But also, if you count this move down, it's not too like, it's not like a very, very nice impulse. Look, this is the same as Bitcoin, very much like a three-wave structure to the downside. Increasing probabilities that the move up and the move down are related, which therefore means that this whole structure is longer, in like over 6 times longer than this, reducing probabilities that this is a wave 4 and this is a wave 2. So therefore you would need to think in, yeah, 5, why you need to 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. That would then be a thing. The problem is that if this is a 1, 2, like 2, 3, 4, 5, then your wave 1 and your wave 4 have overlapped, which is not allowed in an impulse, which means you then need a diagonal structure. But you do already have the overlap, but in a diagonal you would then look for price to take out the low. Now if this has to be counted as some sort of a diagonal though, then you don't, yeah, wave 3 can be longer than 1, you just don't want 5 to be longer than 3. So yeah, Ethereum very much a patience game. To be honest, Ethereum is definitely very ugly. Yes, the higher time frame probabilities are very clear, but locally you touch that 886. So it's therefore very low probabilities that you can count this as a wave 1 and a wave 2. Increasing probabilities that what's happening here is going to be corrective. Of course, the 886 can be the end of a corrective structure. For example, if you look for a triangle A, B, C, D, E, or in this case, you actually want A, B, C, D, E, and then of course move up if you're bullish. But that would mean you then need a W, X, and then a triangle in a Y, which is of course something we're looking for on Bitcoin as well. So keep in mind the 886 here. It's good to be aware of. It's not something I would necessarily like mega rely upon. It just gives the information that this move up is very unlikely being a wave 1. Higher probabilities this is corrective, which increases probabilities to continue ranging, for example triangle, or take out that low. Now what happens depends very much on the subwave structures, right? So 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, so far 3-wave move up again. It's all very 3-wavy, but on the high time frame things are very clear. And also sign of strength as a bare minimum is taking out this level here between 2.7 and 2.9. You got to move above 2.9. I mean, this is currently just very simple a support resistance level, right? We hit support over here, lose the support, and pretty much 1800 is next. Lol. So yeah. So on Ethereum, the highest probability remain all-time highs, also taking the highs here. But wave 2, preferably you look for lower, or at least end after the 382. And then arguably your WXY is better than an ABC, and then you have the triangle. But every scenario still leads for upside. So wave... yes, in Elliott waves, the only 3 rules is wave 2 is not allowed to take the low of 1, wave 3 cannot be the shortest, and wave overlap between 1 and 4 is not allowed unless you have a diagonal. So yes, if wave 2 hits the 886, it can be a wave 2. Your big problem is that the probabilities are significantly reduced the moment you hit an 886 for a wave 2, as Thunderin, I bet you know, as you've been here on the channel for a very long time. So every time the 886 is touched, the probabilities are immediately higher that it's not a wave 1. It's all probabilities. Doesn't mean it cannot be a wave 1, but so you are correct. The rule is take the low. It's just all probabilities. That's the only thing that we can trade. So yeah. Then we have link. Let me do a quick refresh here. So okay, near to the upside. So we start near, more people voting. Yeah, it can still be a wave 2. Would be interesting to get a wave 2 on top of an 886. But that is also where your low time frame counts come into play now. So even though Ethereum hits the 886, if on a low time frame you can identify impulsive structures, you might be looking up or use CVD, right? So on Bitcoin, for example, I have not analyzed the move up from 49 or spoken about the move up from 49 to 65 in the last 1.5 weeks because it's not relevant anymore. What is relevant at the moment is the local move up on the 4-hour from 52 to the upside. And based on that specific move, we can then eventually get clarity on higher time frames. So you want to pick your battles, Now on near, right? So we are on near. Let's see. Gotta go. So on near, yeah. The problem with near is the move to the upside has a lot of overlap here, which is quite annoying to count. So you would need to count this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 not allowed. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is also overlap. This is your issue with the move up. It's very difficult to count this as a clean impulse. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that is why actually I am not focusing on that move to the upside, and instead on the move to the downside. Now also here. Your bearish scenario would be an impulse to the downside, which is then counted as a wave 1, flat in a 2, another one, flat in a 2. You want to see continuation to the downside. What lowers the probabilities is that your wave 2 is 11 times longer compared to your wave 1, reducing probabilities for this scenario. And also your wave, oh no, you didn't actually hit the 886 if you take it from this high to the low. Second problem though is counting an impulse in wave 1. You have to have a diagonal. It's forced, but that would be the only way there. Now then we have our second leg, another flat in a wave 2. Now because you then count a flag in both, you have to be aware of a double 1-2, as in a double 1-2, price tends to have a similar structure in the wave 2. So counting a flat in both makes it at least relevant. Your important support resistance level, same as on Ethereum, really is just above price. 490, 524. Very clearly at the moment here, a 3-wave structure to the upside. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame, then on near, like it's the same, of course, on many charts, but also here, very clear, a 3-wave structure to the upside, not a 5-wave structure, like an impulsive move to the upside here, or at least lower probabilities for that to be the case. Increasing probabilities, it's a 3-waver, increasing probabilities to continue ranging / take the low. So again, you need to see signs of strength, and I just very simply have a support resistance area here on the chart at the moment. That would be a minimum sign of strength. No, I do not do any one-on-ones. If I would do one-on-ones, then the price would be a minimum 20, 30, or 50x compared to what Diamond is now. I can't do one-on-ones. So what we do in the group is I have prepared all of the instructive videos and I'm there to support. So I'm always active. You can always ask questions. I will always guide you. Sometimes maybe a private stream or something like this. But I don't do specific like one-on-one sessions. That is not in Diamond. It is something that I get requested to do, but that's of course a very different price range. So yeah. The bullish scenario is that this is a corrective, a triple zigzag, actually similar compared to Link in that case, W, X, Y, X, Z. Take the lows once more, and then you move to the upside. Now, making the chart a little bit less nice and clean, you can see we hit support, point of control, but we also have very interesting support here at 230 and also here at about 280. So these are important support areas on the chart. And of course, those remain interesting simply because of the 3-wave nature of the move to the upside here. And not moving above the support resistance area. So yeah, your bearish scenario would be a big impulse. What does start to impact the probabilities for this is that it's actually not... Yeah, it's not very quick. Like this would be already a triple 1-2 now. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it starts to lower probabilities. So the probabilities are higher that the structure down there is corrective. So you'd be looking for like your W, X, Y, X, Z triple zigzag, which is very rare, but it remains something I'll keep an eye on here. You also have a W here running flat in X, and then a wave Y, A, B, C, D, E, and then move up, right? Actually, I should probably put this in my folders. W, so that is similar to Bitcoin. Or at least a similar scenario to what Bitcoin is. So in this case, you then want price to still move sideways for a longer period of time. A, B, yeah, you need a C there, and then D, and then E. So you could possibly look for a finish D in that case. Your invalidation is the high of B and the low of C here. So those are your two invalidations. Yep. So a higher probability on near that this here is corrective instead of a triple 1-2. Your first 1-2 is the ugliest, but also it has an impact on the whole structure. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on support. We hit important support, still nice support below, but signs of strength are needed and not yet visible. So then we have, let's see, so okay, AVAX. Okay. Yeah, same here. Resistance 31.4. Wait, I need to write down the timestamp. AVAX is 46. In Diamond, just to continue there, I'm not sure. So in the video, like all the documents and all the files and all the data tracking stuff, and that's all shared. And people work on their own strategy while asking me questions about, hey, what do you think of this? Or shall I do this? Or do I collect my data? Good statements, like, those type of questions. And I also share the way I trade. I share my strategy or two of my strats in there as well as examples. Some people also just trade my strats, which is fine. But I also just share them for the sake of having an example on how I build them, plus one pages with like the rules and how I went from nothing to a full plan, and then creating, of course, one pages and lists to make sure that everything is systematized or systemized, either or. So yeah, here on AVAX, we hit the point of control, which is the point of control of this structure. Important support, as you can see, common target for a wave 2 or a wave B here is hit. And of course, if you're looking for a 2 or B, you do want price to preferably bounce in this area, not touch the 886. Now, let me have a quick look. Macro bear would be looking for a flatten B and then a wave C. Confluences, rectangle. So I quickly do dip down to the daily time frame. Yeah, okay. So the probabilities are higher. This move to the downside is corrective. We have a first move down here. The highest amount of volume is in the low. When we look at this move down here. So if this was impulsive, then preferably what we would look for is a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. The problem is that this wave 4 retraced too high, invalidating a wave 4. And if we want to count 1 2 3 4 5, then your wave 1 and 4 overlapped here. Right? So you can see it here on the chart. So therefore probabilities are higher that we're looking for corrective structure, which then increases probabilities the whole move down is a corrective structure, which immediately or automatically increases the probabilities to count this as a wave 1A or a wave 2B. Now we have hit some support to the downside here. We do, of course, still have one more level. Below this, I don't actually have anything anymore. It's pretty much take the low is 1242, which would be very significant, of course, compared to where we are. That's another easy 50% drop. So preferably you don't get there. Now on the 4-hour time frame here, you can see that price here actually took the high. So we again have a very much like three-wave structure. If this is an impulse, where is your 4? It's like 1, 2, and then what? So there's never been a 3, a 4, and a 5. So preferably you would be looking for a 3, a correction, a 3, a correction, and a 3 to create a very big diagonal. And for price to then find resistance, maybe I mean this would depends on wave 4, how low wave 4 goes. I think this might be too high, but what you're looking for here would be a diagonal because of the three-wave structure to the upside, and price already took the high, so it invalidates a triangle on AVAX here. So actually, I mean, this is like why it's so nice to use technical analysis. That's very, very accurate. If we then use from the low to the high. Oh wait, so we hit the golden pocket, but did we hit the 0.7? Yes, we did. So we hit the 0.7, which does reduce the probabilities that this is a double zigzag in a WXY. So therefore, at least the diagonal is a good one to keep in mind. But on AVAX at the moment, the probabilities remain higher to long-term, weekly time frame. Still look for that high to be taken, mainly because the move to the downside here has a higher probability of being a corrective structure and not an impulsive structure, which increases probabilities that everything that comes after is also corrective. The only way to count this as an impulse would be an expanding diagonal. So, no. But expanding diagonals are very rare, never preferred, unless everything else fails. So AVAX near ETH. Oh, there we go. Link. Yeah. What's up, COCU? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Link 52. So on Link weekly time frame, Link I find very interesting. Just as a chart. So we hit the support resistance area here on the chart. As you can see, we have a point of control of this whole range below us at 720. Now remember that on Solana, we have a point of control just below price at 100. So both Solana and Link have a point of control just below the current low, which I know it just makes it interesting. You can also here see, of course, again resistance. Pretty much every alt has like this box above it, 1224 to 1349. Main area of resistance, need to pass it as at least a small sign of strength. This is the bullish scenario, counting an impulse up in a 1, a 2, and then a 3. This over here is your target area for wave 2. And then internally, if we go to the daily, right, if we zoom in, then this over here is the same structure as we just checked on AVAX. So also here we have very much like a three-wave move down, made a low here on a high amount of volume in this local trend down. Increasing probabilities, this low is a wave C. And therefore, and we never got a 4 and a 5 to create a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it increases probabilities. This is corrective, corrective, corrective. And therefore, on Link, there is the potential here for WXYXZ as your quote-unquote 4-hour or daily bearish scenario to take out the low. That would then be, instead of a WXY double zigzag, it's WXYXZ. In that case, to still take out the low, grab that point of control, and then reverse towards the upside. On the 4-hour time frame, also here, higher probability three-wave structure up. We cannot count this as a multi 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 continuation or an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lots of overlap here. So it's very much a three wave, increasing probabilities to continue the range at the bare minimum / take out the low. So either you get clarity at a later stage or the low, but by all means, there is no bullish sign yet on Chainlink locally. On the daily, a WXYXZ is definitely now starting to be a scenario to be considered, even though a WXYXZ triple zigzag is very rare. And yeah. On the weekly, your bullish scenario though, highest probability at the moment is the bullish scenario. And that is also simply because this move up, the only way to count this bearish would be to count this as a wave C. But that means you then need to count an A, B, C. Right? Now, in this case, if you want to count this as a wave C, and so you need a flat, we could do that, and then wave B. Right? I'm just trying even this case. So you hit the 105, and the 105 is an uncommon, less common target for wave B. But then your wave C is very extended. So if you have an expanding flat, preferably your B was a little deeper, and then you can get an extended C, because this C is very long. It hit the 2.618 trend-based subextension from the low to the high to the low. At least this is the highest point of the range. 2.618 here, which is less common for a wave C. So it increases probabilities. This is a new impulse. So yeah. I'm not really too confident just yet on is this the low? Just show me proof of strength. No, currently a very three-wavy structure to the upside. So yeah, most of the alts look for another low. Most of the alts, have a three-wave structure to the upside, but same as on Bitcoin. They are some of those alts are in a phase where you could look for a potential triangle in a wave Y, which means you don't take the low. But in the common probability is, yes, on the weekly the probabilities are higher for impulsive structures, high time frame, but on the 4-hour probabilities are higher to either continue sideways or take out the low. Because you don't yet have any signs of strength. Most of the alts have very three-wave structures to the upside, which doesn't give a lot of trust. You would need to see sign of strength. Most of the alts need to pass at least the support resistance it has to the upside as a bare minimum. That would be a sign to wait for it. No, so there is at least the potential. Yes, there's at least the potential. Sol having near ETH done, and then we have SUI. So, SUI. In order for me to do ARP, one needs to make sure to vote. So yeah, we are currently at resistance. So the blue box here that we have on the chart. Don't really have anything above here really. Let me check the groups that I have here. So this is your bullish scenario. And okay, yeah, I actually don't have a bearish scenario. So yeah, so the probabilities haven't changed. So yeah, it's quite clean. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. Corrective structure, hitting support. 786 is a common target for 2. Daily is hit. Last area of support. Probability is higher that you are looking for an impulse to the upside. Now on the local, daily time frame, price is moving up on volume. So what you have to wait for is another range to form. Another range will give us all of the information that we need. And if I just quickly on a 1 hour time frame have a look, if I take it from here to here, check, Did we touch it? Yes, we did. So the probabilities are higher on SUI to still continue to the upside. ING. Take out that high as a bare minimum. ING, right? So what do we have here? Very old. It's been a while. So that's it. Let's see. WXY's weekly. That's the bear, and this is the bull. Okay, so that's that. It's been a long time since we checked out this chart, so short improvements or update. There we go. In this case, you would then count here 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 to create the high for your wave 3. Of course, remains a little awkward, and that's mainly this here. It's almost like on Ethereum, you have like this range in the middle of the move up. So, of course, your bearish scenario would. I mean, why is this bear? Daily bear? Of course, actually, bear would be more like a WXY some sort. But I'm gonna go to the daily. 1 second. Yes, daily. I don't need to do SUI in more detail, as the probabilities are higher to move up. On the weekly, higher to move up, and on the daily, higher to move up. So with the alts, it goes very quick. I don't do low time frame analysis. I only do high time frame analysis, and that is currently what's up on SUI. So probabilities are higher to continue the trend. Probabilities are higher on the weekly to still look for all-time highs, and that's of course weekly time frame. And on the daily, you're pushing up, which means two things. One, you need to wait for a bigger range to form, because only a bigger range gives information, but at the moment we don't have a bigger range. And two, the current range we have on the 4-hour, higher probabilities you still take the high, because the 886 is touched, and the 886 increases probabilities to still take out the local high. So that is pretty much everything one needs to know at the moment on what was it? SUI. And then you need to identify, of course, support resistance areas for potential rejections. But at the moment, probabilities are still higher to take out those highs. So yeah. Okay, so then we have here ING. Highest amount of volume. We took this high at a later, or the low at a later stage again. Nothing is financial advice, so make sure you have your own trading plan and strategy in order to take interesting positions. So here we have an ABC. Yeah, it's very much so here also this move down has a higher probability of being a three-way structure, right? So we have the highest amount of volume locally here in that low out of the latest move down. Of course, here at the high we had some high volume. We still actually have a even higher volume here at the low. So after making this low, if this would be an impulse, we want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The problem is your 4 retraced super high. So therefore probabilities are higher. This is a wave C. Now the fact we took the low at a later stage, we have to think about WXY could be finished or another XZ. But by all means, and the bearish scenario, by the way, so bullish would be WXY finished, but then you want to count impulse structures up. We will have a look at the 4 hour. And your invalidation, yeah, so price would need to take out this high. Do we have support resistance? We do. So, yep. So a WXY double zigzag is of course bullish, WXY, and then a WXY-XZ still bullish. Now I will have a look at some support because I don't have a confluence folder here, so I'll make sure to quickly check that. For the bears, what you're looking for is a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you take the low one more time, your bullish scenario is a WXY-XZ. Bearish scenario is that this is a diagonal in a wave 1 or a wave A, and then you still look for price to move up before retracement down. So in both of the cases on INJ, you are starting to at least keep an eye on signs of strength to look for a move towards the upside. So in other words, probabilities at the moment are higher. This is corrective. And only when you take this low one more time would a diagonal... wait. Can we count this? No, we can't count this a diagonal. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we take a trend-based flip from the high to the low to the high, 1 to 1, yeah, it's passed. So wave 5 longer than 3, which is not allowed. So higher probability at the moment, this is corrective. Only if you take the low, we have the potential for a bigger diagonal here. But then after diagonal, you still look for retracement to the upside. Most important support is this previous range on the chart. So we have here a monthly, which of course is also a interesting area of volume. Another monthly here. Weekly time frame, volume profile. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. Oh, is another point of control actually just below us. But this is definitely important support. Bitcoin update has been done all the way at the beginning of the live stream. It would be very far though. It's still, that's quite a dip down. That's easy 50%. So at the moment, of course, we're finding support at where we had the previous range, right? Which it's fine, completely fine to wick the low of the range. That's no problem. You definitely, like, if you take this low again, then yeah, you know, this is next. So then I'll be looking for 9, which would be, of course, quite a solid drop of another 35%. But is that really 4 hour? At least on ING, there is the potential to count an impulse here. So that's something. 1, 2, 3, sideways, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's at least we have a potential 1 here. We can count an impulse, which many charts cannot say. A 2, preferably your 2 is finished here, by the way. From a price point, at least. Okay, I can hear that my parents are here, so I gotta quit soon. We gotta go. We have dinner with friends very soon. So we've made the low after the 302, which is good. Price-wise, from the low to the high, we have the 786. Yeah, so preferably you don't get down there. If you take out this low, probabilities increase to take out this low. Take out this low, probabilities increase to move to support, which is pretty much 9. So yeah, but on the daily time frame, probabilities at the moment are higher that this structure down is corrective, right? Very much 3-wave, ending on a high amount of volume, never got away 4 and 5. So higher probabilities, this is a 3, correction, another 3, potential finished WXY to then return back up. Make sure to look for signs of strength, moving resistance back into support, CVD divergences, and that sort of stuff. Probabilities at the moment remain higher for ING to take out that high because of this move to the downside. So yeah. And that is that, because, it's now 6 p.m. I had time, or 5 past 6. I had time till 6. I tried to do as many as I could, but which is Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, NEAR, AVAX, Link, SUI, and INJ, all in an hour. So that's pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 alts, and then shortly Bitcoin at the beginning. Yeah, I can't do any other alts. I have to go. My parents just arrived. We have to leave very, very soon. And I still have to get dressed. So, quick email needed. Can always put something in Discord. But Bitcoin CVD, not interesting. Bullish CVDs are not interesting unless you start to build bullish market structure, which at the moment price has not done. It's only moving to the downside. So you got to wait for market structure to change with higher highs, higher lows. But at the moment it's moving down with bearish CVDs that played out. And we still have the bigger bearish CVD if you take out the low. So yeah, bull CVDs are not interesting unless you get market structure. Yeah. So thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate you spending some time on your valuable Sunday, and I will see you again tomorrow.